old are you?
Going to be 89 in 2 months.
What is a big mistake that you have made or a big regret you have that you learned a valuable lesson from?
My biggest mistake was picking my husband. I got divorced at a very, very early age. Was a single mother for 30-odd years. Be careful who you pick to spend your life with. At my age, we met our boyfriends at 16, 17. Today, people are getting married at 30 and 32 and have a career, and then they have a family. Who didn't know any better. Today's women, I think, are a little smarter.
What is love to you, if you're to define that?
If you respect another person and you support another person, I think that's a lot of love.
If you could go back in time, knowing what you know today, give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say to her?
Don't get married. Live your life. Do whatever you want. Just enjoy your life.
Granny must be up to something. And in today's video, please, when you ladies are listening to it, make sure you take out what you need to take out and spit out what you need to spit out, because in no way, shape or form am I discouraging any woman who really view the union of marriage as a sanctity for them and wish to do it. I know a lot of women want to do that, right? And marriage can be a good thing if you do it with someone who value, respect, and regard you and is willing to support you and see you as a woman and a human being, right? So please know that I understand that, but this video is for women who want to go into that and need to go into it with caution and the awareness of what they're doing. So watch this video, these clips, and I'll be back with my commentary.
I hate being married. I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stay and stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, there's some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married. So y'all know how I say that I always use my content to push my pain into purpose, make y'all laugh. A lot of this pain is connected to my marriage. A lot of it. I just try my hardest not to put it out there, and I'm still not going to go into details. But just know that this shit is not for gold. And no matter how much I try, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, I still just want the out. I want to be single. I know I can love myself better alone than anybody can love me with them. I love who I am, but I do not love who I am with this person. I hate being married, and on my life, once this shit is over, I would never get married again.
I want to share my story because I know I can't be the only one going through this. I was in a relationship where I felt completely secure. I felt seen, heard, and valued. I truly believed that getting married would only make us stronger. But after we got married, everything changed. And it wasn't because of him directly. It was because of his family's influence, something I wasn't prepared for. I had never even heard of the term enmeshment. I literally just learned that word yesterday, and I'm 32. So I've never heard that term before, but I am suddenly living it. Enmeshment is when a family is so emotionally entangled that there are no real boundaries and loyalty to the family comes above everything, even a spouse. And I didn't realize how deep it was until after we got married. Looking back, there were signs, but I didn't see them as red flags because there wasn't an obvious problem before. There wasn't some huge family drama early on that made me take a step back and analyze. But enmeshment isn't always obvious until you're in a situation where your partner is forced to choose between you and their family. So here are some things that I had wished I paid attention to sooner that I would really like for you to reflect and ask yourself. Did your partner grow up feeling guilty for saying no to their family? Do they struggle to set boundaries with their parents or siblings? Do they get anxious or defensive if you bring up concerns about their family? Do they feel like choosing their spouse means betraying their family? I wish I had seen how he handled real conflict with his family before we got married, because once we did, I started noticing things that I had never seen before. The hardest part is that before marriage, I never questioned my place in his life. I always felt chosen, and I always felt like a priority. But after we got married, I started feeling like I was suddenly competing with his family, and that is one of the most painful feelings. Feeling completely secure in someone's love, to feeling like you have to fight for your spot in their life. If you're engaged or you're in a serious relationship, this is my warning to you. Pay attention to the family dynamics. Watch how they handle conflict. Don't assume that just because everything feels great now, it will automatically stay that way after marriage. Because when family pressure comes into play, if your partner doesn't know how to set boundaries, you'll be the one who suffers for it. I wish we had done premarital counseling. I wish we had talked more deeply about family roles, expectations, and boundaries before we said I do, because I never expected to be here. I never expected to feel this alone in my marriage.
A lot of us that are married, we are in a marriage, not a marriage. So single people, don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry. Forget the paparazzi on social media. Forget the anchor of social media. Forget it. Do not be deceived. Don't be carried away by the testimony. Look, we are entitled to share whatever we want. We married people want to share on our page. We can lie. It is our load to carry. A lot of people that you are looking up to are lying to you. I'm not saying everybody. You think they have it all good, all nice. My darlings, it's hot in there. It's hot. So don't be on social media, but that's why when you're on social media, go in with your brain. No, stop wishing to have people's relationships. So don't let it carry you away. Don't be carried away. I'm not scaring you. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to say I'm not against marriage.
I think by now, people already know that a lot of people just live make-believe on social media, and it's unfair. Marriage have been sold to women as a bed of rosary. A lot of women don't even know what they're signing into, right? Why some already know is suffering, but they don't know the magnitude of the suffering, especially if the man, in quote, you're getting married to has a kink or a fetish for women suffering, or women being their mom. But before I digress, the earlier speaker spoke about how initially, when she was dating her man, she felt chosen, she felt prioritized, and then when she suddenly married, she saw some part of him which she probably caught a glimpse of, but didn't take it serious because she was in love, right? And the man was so good to her, and then something she didn't necessarily see as red flag. And I think I can relate to that. I've been in a situation where I was in a relationship where I was expecting this man. I was dealing with this man. The red flag I saw were just a little bit of how argumentative he'll be, but then again, he did it so well that it wasn't as if he was argumentative. I didn't catch a glimpse of that on time, right? But yeah, it do happen. And even my mom, I've seen it in my mom's home where my dad, to an extent, prioritized his family over my mom and even over our family. He's not a bad man, don't get me wrong, but if you're in Nigeria, you might understand what I mean. To the point that even his brother, who was mischievous, got away with a lot of things.
What's your biggest regret in life?
I would say getting married too young. Yeah, that's my biggest regret. But overall, it has taught me a lesson, and I'm learning from that.
At what age did you get married?
At age 21.
What advice do you have for people that, like, this age 21, in them 20s, were kind of be like, okay, I feel like I want to try this marriage thing. What advice do you have for those people?
First thing, take your time. Don't rush into things. You might feel that you're in love, but just take your time and let God lead the way. Don't rush into things. Once God is in the forefront, then everything is good.
What's the one lesson that you've learned about being married that you kind of want to share to people that, you know, have desires or aspiration to be married?
I've learned nothing. I've learned nothing.
So you haven't learned anything from her. How long were you married?
That one is hard. That one is hard.
Okay. All right. Never mind. What's your name?
My name is Sarita.
All right. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So guys, I used to say that I am happily married, but now I'm stressfully married because I get to realize married is not a happiness. Tell me, why should I be dealing with 6 kids, including my husband?
So I just watched a video of a woman talking about her ex-husband and how replaceable women are for men. And I can attest to this. It's crazy. So in my youth, I was raised by the patriarchy, as most of us women are. It wasn't until much later that I understood my worth, but we'll get to that later. So being married, I did everything. I cooked, I cleaned, I set up events, I had the friends, I made the dates. I did everything for this man. Everything. And anytime I asked for help, there was always backlash and an argument. It was a manipulative tactic, and eventually it got into fear tactics, if you know what I'm saying. There was a time where I had this really great job, and then he convinced me to quit it, and then got mad when I was not bringing any money when he asked me to quit my job. There was a point where our money was combined, but we would get allowances every month or week so that I could spend my own money. It was so nuts. Meanwhile, this man's setting up his studio in our house, spending money galore. Our expenses are crazy. Crazy, and that's not for me, because I have anxiety now about spending money because of his manipulative tactic. So to say that the man benefits more than the woman, 100%. I was losing my hair out of anxiety. I was walking on eggshells around this man. When I finally decided to end the marriage, and this is after months of fighting through therapy, we really tried. He grew up in a religious household, so divorce was not really in the picture, but it was in the picture for us. So I finally am all right, I'm done with this. This is so toxic. I cannot do this mentally. I'm very ill. Finally, I put myself into therapy because I felt like I was a crazy person, but it was really a narcissist manipulation tactic, right? So get out of the marriage. A month out of that, he already has a new girlfriend. Trades in one for the other, right? This person has a rough background, so she's can put up with his BS. I'm learning my own worth at this point, which is why I'm finally I'm done. I can't be in this. I cannot be in this for years and years and years with a person who doesn't even value me as a person. There's no way. That's clearly, you need somebody else for that. But it's not gonna be me, and I feel so bad for this woman. Because that just shows her walk in life, right? A month into us separating, the divorce papers haven't even been drafted yet. 2 months later, he already has this woman pregnant. If it's not, they're not married yet. Even to this day, this was 4 or 5 years later. They're not married. Nope, but I bet you he's dangling that carrot. Because he wants to keep her, right? And that's an interesting space to be in. Now you have kids, and you're dangling the carrot of marriage to get her to stay. Manipulation, right? And I asked him before we signed the divorce papers, and I never talked to him again. Why did you ask me to get married? Why did you want to marry me? It's such a weird thing for someone just to want and to push. Why? And he was like, oh, I don't know. He knew that he wanted me to take care of him. He had severe mother trauma. He wanted someone to take care of him, do everything for him, and he wanted someone he thought he could manipulate. And early on in our dating, yeah, I was a little bit more malleable. But as we got older and I had to fight for my literal well-being and health, that was not the same woman, and he needed to trade me out. So it's interesting how it benefits men over women. I don't know if I'll ever get married again. I would sign a prenup. I would do a prenuptial agreement with my long-term partner. I don't know if I would ever get legally married, because there's just something that switches in the male brain afterwards where they just feel very entitled to that person, where when they already feel territorial when you're dating them. So then having that legal document, like, oh, because literally in the subconscious of every male back in the day before women had rights, a marriage document was that you were their property. It literally was. So I'm good on that. I am a feminine woman ready for my masculine man, but I do not need to have a marriage document in order to prove that. So there's that. And I just am so grateful that more women are becoming aware of their worth and their power, because hopefully that will help fight the patriarchal indoctrination of how men treat women. That's my TED Talk.
And now let me tell you this, for all you people that aren't married yet, please know, I don't care how long you've been in a relationship. Don't get married because you've been in a relationship for a long time. Don't get married because you guys started living together. Don't get married because the pastor said, God said this is your woman, this is your man. Please don't get married because of that. Don't even get married because you fell pregnant. Don't get married because you already introduced each other's family. Do not get married because of all of that. Don't get married because you feel like you're running out of time. Don't do it. Don't do it. For all those reasons and more. I see in my spirit that the Lord said, this is your husband. Don't. Until you know it, until you're sure, you don't do it. Oh, but Daisy, I told everybody and our parents have introduced each other and we've met. I don't care. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you're sure, right? Don't do it. Oh, I fell pregnant and now, that's what's expected. I don't care. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, we've been together for so long. We've been together for 5 years. I don't want to waste those years. Waste the years. Waste them. Because it's better than wasting the rest of your life, okay? Waste those 5 years. Let them be wasted.
Question for ladies. If you ran into your 18-year-old self and you could only say 3 words only, what would you say?
If you go back to this video, you will see that there's an overwhelming amount of comments that say, don't get married. And not everybody elaborates on why, but we can make a lot of assumptions based on what we know to be true about marriage. We know that women do the bulk of the domestic labor. They're doing the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry. They're scheduling appointments for home repairs. They are the person scheduling the doctor's appointments, buying gifts for their in-laws. They are doing the bulk of the domestic labor. And these women are now in the workforce. 50% of the workforce is women. Most homes are dual income homes. And these women are making as much, if not more than their male counterparts oftentimes, and still doing the bulk of the domestic labor. And if you add children to the mix here, women tend to become the default parent very quickly. They're the person doing all of the overnight feedings with their kids. They're the person arranging childcare. They are thinking about their school forms. They're filling out their paperwork. They're filling their lunch boxes. They know what their favorite snacks are. They are the person who's the default for everything that comes to their kids, and they become the default when it comes to caretaking, the actual time it takes to care for a child. So not only are they working full-time, but they're working full-time doing the domestic labor and doing all of the caretaking. And then when they have the audacity to ask their partner to show up in a more equitable way, a lot of men will say no. They are not willing or able to do that. They don't want to be that active of a parent. They wanted their job to be of a provider. And so when these women ask for more and they don't get it, they choose to opt out. Over 70% of divorces are initiated by women. More and more women are choosing not to get married. And I say this as a woman who is happily married right now. Marriage can be very difficult if you fall into these norms, if you fall into these patterns of the woman doing the bulk of the domestic labor and the caretaking while also working full time, because it's just unsustainable. And it does not have to be like that. You can put the work in, and if you have a willing and able partner, it does not have to look like that. But if I had gone into marriage at 26 years old knowing that we were going to fall into these patterns, I don't know if I would have raised my hand to do it. I would have wanted to do the work then. I would have wanted to make the changes then. I would have wanted to lay out the proper path for us to be successful, because without it, it's not much fun. It is not much fun to feel like, as a woman, that you are the person who is in charge of everybody's happiness and well-being at all times, and that there's nobody thinking of you. And that is why I can assume most of these women are saying, don't get married.
What is it they say? A word is enough for the wise. And the thing I like about this video is that it cuts across globe, across culture, and these are advice from women, ladies out there. When going to marry, before you say I do, make sure you are doing it to a friend, not a foe. Make sure you are doing it with someone who appreciates, cherishes you, and at least see you as a human. Not someone who sees you as your sole purpose is to serve him. Because men are callous. Men are mean. Especially for the ones who don't see you as a human, but they work meal or as a means to make their life better. Because no matter how men lie, there's a reason why they're reacting. If marriage was really for women, because I know it's women that clamor for it, because if I'm going to give you my life, if I'm going to be with you, you should put a ring on it, right, to seal it, right? But even that can be a prison on its own. It can. In Nigeria here, if you marry, a lot of times, if you're nowhere secure, if you don't plan it well, and the man decides to wander out, there's likely the chance that you won't be compensated at all, because you're his property, right? And that's why sometimes I'm quick to tell women who are in America to shut the fuck up every time they try to champion removing child support, because I'm like, can you see nowadays women are the ones who even pay child support, not even men. So ladies out there, be careful. Some of these men don't like you. Some of these men just see you as a breeder, nothing more. Not to fearmonger you, right? Not to scare you away from marriage, right? But you've listened to this video, and every day I see women, older women, in fact, coming out to say, no, don't do this shit. And younger women feel like, what are you saying? I mean, you did it, let me do it too. Well, it's okay, it's a beautiful thing, but make sure you secure, you protect yourself and your interests. And I really want to see you guys' comments below. Drop your opinion. I don't mind the engagement, back and forth engagement, and please keep it respectful. If you like what you're seeing here, share, like, and subscribe. Till I see you in my next video, have a great day. Bye.